Welcome back to Tarot Tuesday, where today we're talking swords. The sword suit is generally associated with the element of air, also can be tied to the astrological signs of Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, all your air signs. It is associated with the suit of spades in our traditional playing card deck. So if you want to do readings with those, that's where your association is. Just like every other suit, there is a journey that is told throughout the suit of swords. Swords are all about our thoughts, our mental state, our actions in our mind. So when we talk about cups, where we talk about our emotional selves, we talk about wands, which is about taking your thoughts and turning it into action. We talk about coins, which is all about reaping the rewards of the work that we've done. Wands and coins are all about the physical, tangible results, whereas swords and cups are more about the internal thought process and emotions that go with that. So as you look at the suit of swords throughout, it's all about your mental journey. It's all about building yourself up to those ideas and then feeling the confidence to take action with them. So when you start with the Ace of Swords, think of it like new ideas, new thoughts, new ways of being, new ways of thinking. As you go through this journey, swords to me is one of the more difficult suits. When these show up in a reading, it means that there's some mental conflict that's going on that needs to be resolved. And you can see that in the journey through the suit. As you look through the cards, just if you look at the artwork itself, you don't see a lot of pleasant artwork. You don't see a lot here that shows positivity right off the bat. So typically, when you look at the 10 in cups, what you see is reaping the rewards. It's all about achieving what you've worked for. If you look at the 10 in swords, 10 swords stabbed directly in someone's back. Essentially, you're looking at a murder. Nothing pleasant about that. As you look at the evolution of swords, it's definitely about changing thought process, changing the way you approach things, that mental stimulation and that desire to move forward in your life through your thoughts and through turning those thoughts into action. So as you look at the swords again, different aspects along the journey. One of my favorite is the Three of Swords. As far as symbolism goes, it's pretty straightforward. You're looking at a heart that has been stabbed by 3 swords. I always think of Miss Cleo when I see this card. Don't invite the heartache. This is where thoughts, words, actions can affect your emotions. If you look at the 9, it looks like somebody who's waking up from a nightmare, somebody whose thoughts have bled into their subconscious life and they just can't work through them. They just feel trapped in those thoughts. So there's a lot of work to be done. When you see swords show up in a reading, it typically means that someone needs to look at the way they're thinking about things and change their approach, their mental approach to how they're approaching whatever that aspect is, the greater aspect of the reading. So again, when you see the major arcana in a reading, that's going to give you the major theme. These cards are going to support that. So if you see a lot of swords in your reading, it's all about that thought process, all about changing the way you're thinking about things. I hope that's been a little bit helpful. If you get a lot of swords in your reading, I'm sorry, it is what it is. But that said, it's just as useful and helpful as all the other suits, especially when read together. I often will see swords show up in partnership with wands because wands is all about the action that you take after you make your thoughts. Swords are the thoughts that go with it. So you see them work hand in hand in tandem. You'll also see these with cups a lot because often when we're dealing with a relationship, an emotional issue, our rational mind wants to look at it a different way, and your swords are going to represent that more rational thought process. So these are really complementary to other suits. If you get a lot of these on their own, it's a mind game. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next week.